All right, so as you may or may not have heard, Stephen Colbert was canceled by CBS. And by that, I mean his show, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Now, CBS has chosen to end the franchise, so they claim he's so iconic, that he's irreplaceable, that they're going to end the series, which is a serious slap in the face of David Letterman, who a lot of people would have thought was irreplaceable as well. So, so that's their story. And it's entirely possible that it's true because apparently late night talk shows are slowly going the way of the dodo bird, in that fewer people are watching it on TV, that they're actually watching it through social media or through YouTube. So they've decided it's too expensive. Now, all that is well and good and a common and a business decision. Two problems here. The first one is that I doubt that this just suddenly became the case. And I'm pretty sure that it wasn't that long ago. I think it was sometime this year that they re-signed Colbert to 2 or 3 more years. So they must have known already this year that there was financial issues surrounding late night before they extended his contract. So that's number one. And number two is the optics. First off, Trump is taking credit. Well, not taking credit, but he's saying things like I'm glad he was fired, which, like I said, he still had a year or two on his contract, so technically, yes, it was a firing, and that Jimmy Kimmel is next, which isn't a good look. That's basically screaming that CBS and Paramount are bending the knee to Trump, that they're capitulating to Trump, because he, of course, doesn't like Colbert because, oh my God, Colbert actually makes fun of him on the daily, and Trump is way too thin-skinned to handle it. So there is that. And, but what's chilling and what makes it so obvious that it's a capitulation is the fact that he's saying that Jimmy Kimmel is next, which he's already had issues with ABC. So if ABC thought that they had satiated the beast, they're wrong. He's coming for Kimmel now. So what, are you going to capitulate again and do that? Now, CBS is in a financial pinch, and they want a merger to go through. And Trump is taking advantage of that. I read that even South Park, which runs on Comedy Central, which is owned by Paramount, which also owns CBS, is worried about this merger as well, that it's going to kill their show. So, yeah, the optics are not good. Then, like yesterday, 2 days ago, I think it was Monday. Yeah, it was Monday. After Stephen came back from vacation, he basically called the capitulation of Paramount to Trump because of the lawsuit that Trump used against CBS because of the Kamala Harris interview, because people don't know how editing works. And so he sued CBS. And they're like, you know what? Even though this has no merit, we would obviously win. We're just going to give him $16 million and just call it a day. Which, again, not a good look, but Colbert actually called them out on it and called it what it is, a bribe. So they could allow the merger to go through since Paramount is desperate for money. So between the two, it could be because of, Trump, them wanting to make nice with Trump. Or it could be just that they didn't appreciate that Colbert called them out on their behavior. Either way, the optics suck. Even if at the end of the day it is a financial decision, the fact still remains that you knew that a couple of months ago. Why did you renew Colbert's contract if there was a financial burden to you? Plus the ratings aren't what they used to be. I mean, things didn't just go downhill the past month or so. So there might be a financial component to this, but the timing in 3 ways is just horrible because of the merger and Trump and the fact that the financial situation was no different when you renewed his contract not that long ago. So, yeah, there is absolutely nothing good about this. So, even if it had a financial component, it got swept under the rug because of all this other bullshit. So, now the Writers Guild is calling for investigation into this whole shenanigans. And to be honest, I almost hope that Paramount that their merger with Skydance does not go through, because that'll teach them to capitulate to a tyrant. Like I said, it could also be that they had their nose bent out of joint for the fact that Colbert made fun of them for capitulating to Trump. But yeah, that makes you thin-skinned because John Oliver makes fun of HBO and AT&T quite a bit on his show, and he's still on. Why? Because they understand humor. They are not going to get offended by a joke. A joke that doesn't actually harm them. But anyway, let us get to the latest article from The Hollywood Reporter. Writers Guild calls for investigation after Late Show cancellation, citing bribery concerns. All right. The East and West Coast branches of the union conveyed concerns that the move may be sacrificing free speech to curry favor with the Trump administration. Because, yeah, that's obvious. All right. That was the subtitle. The union representing writers on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is calling for a New York State investigation into Paramount following the cancellation of the show on Thursday, airing concerns that the move may be a form of bribery. Because Colbert even pointed that out before the cancellation, that the settlement was a bribery. So, yeah. The union's East and West Coast branches asked that New York State Attorney General Letitia James open an inquiry into potential wrongdoing at the company in a strongly worded statement on Friday. The WGA East and West pointed to the precedent of the California State Senate, which in May launched an inquiry into Paramount Global's controversial $16 million settlement with President Trump over the editing of a Kamala Harris 60 Minutes interview in 2024. Cancellations are a part of the business, but a corporation terminating its show in bad faith due to explicit or implicit political pressure is dangerous and unacceptable in a democratic society, the union stated. Paramount's decision comes against a backdrop of relentless attacks on free speech by President Trump through lawsuits against CBS and ABC, threatening litigation of media organizations with critical coverage and the unconscionable defunding of PBS and NPR. The union further requested of elected leaders in general that they hold those responsible to account and demand answers about the cancellations. Now, just another thing about PBS and NPR. The claim by Trump is that they're left-leaning because they only show a certain point of view which he doesn't like, because apparently people can't handle that their point of view doesn't comport with reality. So let's just cancel the station. I mean, if you've watched my channel, you know how much I hate Fox News and what it's done to the brains of the people who watch it. They've pickled their brains. Do I think that it should be taken off the air? Not necessarily. Just let people know that you're not news, that you're entertainment. Take the news off your freaking name because you're not news. But, hey, if you want to spout a certain point of view and people want to watch it and believe it, fine. But don't call yourself news then. Because I'm pretty sure that the people who claimed that, oh, I learned this on Fox News or I learned that on Fox News, it wasn't an actual news program. It was opinion programs like Laura Ingraham or Sean Hannity, whose only job is to rile up the base. All you have to do is see their texts and emails after January 6th to know that they don't actually believe the bullshit they spout. No journalist does that. No journalist will do that. Actually, if you talk to Rachel Maddow, she will not do that. When you hear her give her opinion on the news, she actually believes it. She's not just doing it and then behind the scenes saying, "Can you believe what's going on?" No, that's because these people are not good faith actors. They're bad faith actors, and that's why I despise them. Not only are they giving horrible takes, but they don't even believe those takes themselves. So anyway, moving on. The union further requested of elected leaders in general that they... Oops, I read that already. Oops. The WGA's request is not a new one. Paramount has been awaiting approval from the Federal Communications Commission of its proposed $8 billion merger with Skydance Entertainment for some time. After Paramount settled its 60 Minutes lawsuit with Trump, a complaint which many legal experts posited would not hold up in court, news of the California State Senate inquiry followed. Then Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren called for an investigation into whether the transaction had violated any anti-bribery laws. Almost as soon as the Late Show cancellation made headlines on Thursday, speculation erupted over whether the move could be some form of capitulation to the president. Colbert, a longtime Trump critic, rose in popularity during the president's first administration with a strong political focus and pointed nightly commentary about his actions and remarks. A little bit of a nitpick there. A lot of people knew Stephen from when he was originally on The Daily Show and when he made a name for himself on The Colbert Report, which was making fun of Fox News, which a lot of people didn't get, which is very frightening. Which tells you the IQ level of the people who watch Fox News if you were so easily duped by a comedy show obviously making fun of your viewpoint. And you took his obvious ridiculousness as serious. Anyway, so it's not like he came into prominence during Trump. He was pretty prominent before Trump. Trump celebrated the cancellation of The Late Show on his Truth Social platform on Friday morning. I absolutely love that Colbert got fired, he said. His talent was even less than his ratings. I hear Jimmy Kimmel is next. Yeah, that's not a threat at all. I wonder what Jimmy is doing right now. I can't wait to hear how he's handling this. I mean, I doubt he's going to cower in fear because just like Colbert, he's not like that. All right, so here's the WGA's full statement. On July 2nd, Paramount agreed to settle a baseless lawsuit brought against 60 Minutes and CBS News by President Trump for $16 million. On July 15th, during a regular show of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Colbert went on air and called the settlement a big fat bribe, which it was, in exchange for a favorable decision on the proposed merger between Paramount and Skydance, a charge currently under investigation in California. Less than 48 hours later, on July 17th, Paramount canceled The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, a show currently performing first in its time slot, giving vague references to the program's financial performance as the only explanation. For 10 years, the show has been one of the most successful, beloved, and profitable programs on CBS, entertaining an audience of millions on late-night television, on streaming services, and across social media. Given Paramount's recent capitulation to President Trump in the CBS News lawsuit, the Writers Guild of America has significant concerns that The Late Show's cancellation is a bribe, sacrificing free speech to curry favor with the Trump administration as the company looks for merger approval. Cancellations are a part of the business, but a corporation terminating a show in bad faith due to explicit or implicit political pressure is dangerous and unacceptable in a democratic society. Paramount's decision comes against a backdrop of relentless attacks on a free press by President Trump through lawsuits against CBS and ABC, threatened litigation of media organizations with critical coverage, and the unconscionable defunding of PBS and NPR. The Writers Guild of America calls on New York State Attorney General Letitia James, no stranger to prosecuting Trump for illegal business practices, to join California and launch an investigation into potential wrongdoing at Paramount. We call on our elected leaders to hold those responsible to account, to demand answers about why this beloved program was canceled, and to assure the public that Colbert and his writers were not censored due to their views or the whims of the president. One other thing about the defunding of NPR and PBS. One of the people who voted for the bill was Lisa Murkowski after they sweetened the deal by providing pork for her state. Which, that's something that has been a well-known practice. I don't have a problem with that. The problem, well, I have more than one problem with it, but the problem in this case is there was recently a tsunami warning. There was an earthquake and tsunami warning in Alaska. Rural Alaskans found out about the tsunami warning through NPR. They did it through public radio. This is going to kill that. So, tell me again how you brought help to your state when you've made it impossible for people to know if there's a tsunami warning, that they should be concerned. Anyway, that is the end of that article. So, with that, I will see you guys in the next video.